If you want to know how strong a country is, look at its sky. So, what will the American sky look like in 2025? Empty. International airlines are vanishing, cutting flights from Iceland, Canada, Germany, France, Australia, even the US itself. This isn't a blip, it's a global trend. Airlines are abandoning the United States. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how 6 major airlines are saying goodbye to America, and what that means for the American dream. What is America becoming in the eyes of the world? Let's begin with Play Airlines from Iceland, a symbol of affordable, optimistic travel. For years, Play's bright purple planes were a beacon for budget-conscious adventurers, promising a new era of accessible transatlantic journeys. Their presence at airports across Europe and the US was a reminder that the world could be a little smaller and a lot more connected. They offered $99 flights from Reykjavik to Boston, making transatlantic trips possible for students, families, and explorers. Suddenly, a weekend in New York, or a summer in Boston wasn't just a dream for the wealthy. It was within reach for almost anyone with a sense of adventure and a little bit of savings. Play wasn't just selling tickets, they were selling the dream that anyone could experience America. Their marketing was all about inclusivity and possibility, painting the US as a land of opportunity, excitement, and discovery for all. For a while it worked, but in 2025, Play announced a total withdrawal from North America. The news sent shockwaves through the travel industry, leaving many to wonder what had gone wrong with this once promising connection. The reason? Rising costs, tough competition, and, most telling, declining trust in the US as a destination. The economics of cheap flights became unsustainable, and the allure of America began to fade for many Europeans. Leaked memos revealed operational headaches and a sense that visiting America just wasn't worth it anymore. Security hassles, unpredictable visa policies, and a growing perception of unfriendliness all played a part in Play's decision to pull out. The impact was immediate. Travel agencies in Northern Europe saw US bookings drop by 60%. The ripple effect was felt not just by Play, but by hotels, tour operators, and local businesses across America. The loss of Play didn't just mean fewer flights. It meant the idea of America as a destination was fading. The US was no longer the easy, exciting getaway it once was for so many. Other airlines didn't rush to fill the gap. The affordable gateway to America slammed shut, leaving a void that no one seemed eager to replace. For many, the American dream became a distant, expensive fantasy again. Students, families, and young travelers who once saw the US as their next adventure now looked elsewhere, discouraged by high prices and complicated travel rules. Play's exit is a warning. When even budget airlines give up on America, the product, the American experience, is in question. It's not just about flights, it's about the image and accessibility of the country itself. The purple planes are gone, and with them, a stream of visitors, revenue, and goodwill. The absence is felt not just in airports, but in the cities and communities that once welcomed these travelers. It's a quiet departure, but it speaks volumes. The silence left behind is a stark reminder of how quickly a nation's appeal can change. For a growing part of the world, America is becoming a destination to avoid. Other countries are stepping in to offer what the US once did: openness, affordability, and a sense of welcome. And this is only the beginning. As the world changes, so too does the map of opportunity, and America's place on it is no longer guaranteed. Now, look north to Canada, America's closest neighbor and biggest trading partner. This relationship has been a cornerstone of North American travel and commerce for decades. In 2025, Air Canada and WestJet made a drastic decision to slash up to 40% of their US flights. This was not a minor adjustment, but a significant shift in their operations. These weren't obscure routes, they were the main arteries: Toronto to New York, Vancouver to LA, Calgary to Orlando. These routes were the lifelines of cross-border travel, connecting major cities and facilitating countless business and leisure trips. Suddenly, half the flights to the US were gone. The bustling terminals now echo with silence, a stark reminder of the changing times. Why? The US became too expensive for Canadians. Hotels, food, and a weak exchange rate turned a family trip into a luxury. What was once a routine vacation now feels like an extravagant indulgence. A $3,000 vacation now costs $5,000 for the same experience. The financial burden is too heavy for many families to bear. But it's not just about money. Safety concerns and stories of unrest in the US have made Canadians anxious. The news paints a picture of uncertainty, making travelers think twice. The easy, familiar cross-border trips are fading, replaced by a sense of risk and otherness. What was once a seamless journey now feels fraught with potential challenges. Air Canada and WestJet are moving planes to Europe and the Caribbean, betting against the US for now. They are seeking new horizons, hoping to find more stable and profitable markets. This is a vote of no confidence from our closest friend. The implications are profound, affecting not just airlines but the broader economic and cultural ties. The impact is real. American tourist towns are losing their most reliable customers. The once bustling streets are now eerily quiet, with businesses struggling to stay afloat. Snowbirds find it harder and pricier to come south, threatening local economies. The seasonal migration that supported many communities is dwindling. This isn't just about tourism. It's about a lifetime of connections quietly unraveling. Families and friendships that spanned the border are feeling the strain. The Canadian exodus is a hollowing out of a relationship we took for granted, reflected in empty seats on planes that no longer fly south. It's a poignant reminder of how quickly things can change. If Canada's retreat felt personal, Lufthansa's exit is pure business. For over 40 years, Lufthansa was a pillar of transatlantic travel. In 2025, they slashed US routes and sent their planes east, to Asia. Why? The euro-dollar exchange rate made US trips too expensive for Germans. US operational costs, airport fees, ground handling delays were sky-high. German travelers faced long, unpredictable waits at US customs, making business trips a hassle. The result? Lufthansa's flights, once the lifeblood of German-American business, are gone. Now, engineers and executives face complex, multi-stop journeys. Every canceled flight means lost hotel bookings, car rentals, and meals. Lufthansa's pivot is a cold calculation. Asia offers growth and stability, while the US means rising costs and declining demand. When a giant like Lufthansa leaves, it signals America is losing its edge in the global economy. The trend spreads across Western Europe. Air France and KLM, icons of transatlantic travel, cut up to 45% of their US flights in 2025. The Paris-New York route, a symbol of cultural connection, was slashed. Their CEO was blunt: growth is in Asia, not America. For French and Dutch travelers, the strong dollar and US inflation turned dream vacations into financial nightmares. A week in California now costs as much as a luxury safari. European media painted America as divided and unpredictable, making travelers anxious. The result? European tourists are choosing Tokyo, Seoul, and Bali over Miami and New York. For Americans, fewer flights mean higher prices and less access to Europe. The world feels bigger, more distant. Air France KLM's move shows this isn't an anomaly, it's a strategic realignment. The transatlantic bridge is shrinking and the effects are just beginning to be felt. Now to Australia, where Jetstar, the low-cost arm of Qantas, made US trips possible for budget travelers. Suddenly Jetstar pulled out of the US market entirely. No warning, no gradual wind-down. The reason US routes became a financial drain, with high fuel and airport costs and a weak exchange rate. For Australians, an affordable American holiday vanished overnight. Only expensive full-service carriers remained. Why fly 14 hours to an overpriced US city when you can go to Bali or Thailand for less? Jetstar's customers chose Asia and the airline followed. Hawaii felt the sting. Thousands of Australian tourists gone, hurting local businesses. Jetstar's exit shows this is a global trend. Airlines everywhere see America as too expensive and too difficult. The perception of America as an overpriced, complicated destination has reached even the most distant corners of the globe. Perhaps the most sobering chapter in this story isn't about a foreign airline pulling out of the US. It's about JetBlue, a true American original, a brand that once prided itself on bringing affordable, friendly service to cities big and small across the country. In 2025, JetBlue made a stunning move. It pulled out of 15 US airports entirely, erasing its presence from dozens of communities almost overnight. For many of these cities, JetBlue wasn't just another airline, it was a lifeline. Suddenly families, students, and small business owners who relied on JetBlue for affordable fares and direct flights found themselves cut off, with fewer options and higher prices. This isn't just about international carriers leaving American soil, it's about our own companies turning their backs on parts of the country that need them most. JetBlue's official explanation? They said they needed to focus on their most profitable hubs, especially after the high-profile failure of their merger with Spirit Airlines. But beneath the corporate statements, the real story is about a shrinking America, one where the map of accessible cities is getting smaller every year. Smaller communities have lost vital connections to the rest of the country. For many, This means not just inconvenience but real isolation. Higher fares, longer drives to distant airports, and fewer opportunities to travel for work, family, or emergencies. For millions, it's become a kind of tax on living outside a major city, an extra cost just to stay connected to the rest of America. Across the industry, staff shortages, aging infrastructure, and a lack of real competition mean fewer routes, less frequent service, and ever-rising prices. The dream of affordable, accessible air travel is slipping away. The American dream once promised mobility for all, a chance to chase opportunity, visit loved ones, or simply explore. Now, that dream is eroding, especially for those outside the biggest cities. Increasingly, your zip code determines your access to opportunity, to family, to the wider world. The divide between urban and rural America is growing, and air travel is just one more place where that gap is painfully clear. JetBlue's retreat is more than a business decision, it's a symbol. The same economic and regulatory forces that have driven away foreign airlines are now hollowing out our own domestic travel network, leaving entire regions behind. America is becoming disconnected, not just from the world, but from itself. The question is, what will we do to reconnect? 6 airlines, 6 stories, one message: faith in the American experience is fading. Once, America was the dream destination. Now airport gates are closing, not with a bang, but with empty seats and vanishing flights. The real question, will we accept an America where even our friends and neighbors no longer want to fly? Can we regain the trust of global travelers, or is this the start of a long, empty era for U.S. aviation? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more analysis of America's changing place in the world. This channel is about understanding the changes around us, together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.